Hello my friends, good morning to you and welcome back to the reading of the Spirit's book. We are at chapter 11. It is called The Law of Justice, Love and Charity. And as subtopics we have justice and natural rights, the right of ownership, theft, charity and love of our neighbor, maternal and filial love. So we are at justice and natural rights. Question 873. Is the sentiment of justice to be found in nature itself, or is it the result of acquired ideas? Answer. It is so natural that you revolt at the thought of an injustice. Moral progress undoubtedly develops this sentiment, but it does not create it. God has placed it in the human heart. That is why you frequently find among simple and unlearned people notions of justice that are more exact than those among very knowledgeable ones. Question 874. If justice is a law of nature, how may it be explained that people understand it so differently, and that what one individual considers just appears unjust to another? Answer. It is because the passions are usually mingled with the sentiment of justice, thereby altering it. The same thing occurs with the majority of the other natural sentiments, and it causes things to be seen from an erroneous point of view. Question 875. How may justice be defined? Answer. Justice consists in respecting the rights of others. Question that comes after this answer. What determines these rights? Answer. They are determined by two things: human law and natural law. Because humans have established laws that are appropriate for their customs and characters. Such laws have established rights that can vary with progress. Though your current laws are not perfect, they do not consecrate the same rights as the laws of the medieval era, for instance. Even though those rights seem monstrous to you and are now obsolete, they seem just and natural at the time. Therefore, the rights established by humans do not always conform to justice. They only regulate certain social relations, whereas in private life there are a huge number of actions that are the exclusive jurisdiction of the court of conscience. Question 876. Outside the rights consecrated by human law, what is the basis of justice founded on natural law? Answer. Christ has told you, do unto others whatsoever you would have them to do unto you. That's a kind of a tongue twister for me, sorry. So do unto others whatsoever you would have them to unto. There you go. Do unto others whatsoever you would have them do unto you. Okay, I got it. God has placed in the human heart the rule of all true justice through the desire that all have to see their rights respected. If you are uncertain of what you should do for your neighbor in any given circumstance, ask yourself, what would you want your neighbor to do to you in a similar situation? God could not give you a safer guide than your own conscience. And then there is a note from Kardec under this answer, which is this following. In fact, the criterion of true justice is in desiring for others what we would desire for ourselves. It is not the desiring for ourselves that we it's not in desiring for ourselves what we would desire for others, which is not the same thing. So, Since it is not natural to desire our own harm, then if we take our personal desire as the norm or starting point, we can be certain that we will never do anything for our neighbor except what is good. We will never do that, what is bad. We will always do what is good, okay? In all ages, and in all belief systems, humans have always sought to enforce their own personal rights. The sublimity of the Christian religion was to take personal rights as the basis for the rights of their neighbor. Question 877. Does the necessity of living in society impose any obligations to humankind? Answer: yes. And the first of all is that of respecting the rights of others. Those who respect the rights of others will always be just. In your world, where so many do not practice the law of justice, everyone resorts to reprisals. And that is what causes trouble and confusion in your society. Social life bestows rights and imposes reciprocal duties. Question 878. Since humans can be mistaken as to the extent of their rights, what guideline can enable them to know what limits to set on such rights? Answer: the limit of the right that each one recognizes for his or her neighbor in relation to him or herself under the same circumstances, and vice versa. Question that comes after this answer. But if all attributed to themselves the rights of their neighbor, what becomes of subordination to superiors? Wouldn't that cause anarchy regarding all positions of power? Answer: natural rights are the same for everybody, from the least to the greatest. God has not made some from purer clay than others, and all are equal in the divine sight. These rights are eternal, whereas those established by humans perish with their institutions. Moreover, all individuals sense their own strength or weakness, and will always show a certain deference to those who deserve it because of their virtue and wisdom. It is important to point this out so that those who think they are superior may know their duties and may deserve such deference. Subordination will never be compromised if authority is in conformance with wisdom. Question 879. What would be the character of those who practice justice in all its purity? Answer: they would be truly just and would be following Jesus' example, because they would practice both charity and love towards their neighbor, without which there is no real justice. Topic that comes after this answer is the right of ownership or theft and theft. The right of ownership and theft. Question 880. Which is the first of all the natural rights of humans? Answer: the right to stay alive. That is why no one has the right to assault a fellow human being's life or to do anything that may compromise his or her corporeal existence. Question 881. Does the right to stay alive give them the right to accumulate what is needed to live on and to retire when they can no longer work? Answer: yes, but they must do this as a family, like the bee, through the honest labor, and not by accumulating assets as selfish individuals. Certain animals set an example of such foresight. Question 882. Do humans have the right to defend what they have accumulated through their labor? Answer: hasn't God said, "Do not steal"? And Jesus, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's"? Then there is a note from Kardec under this answer. Assets, there are assets that human accumulate through honest labor are legitimate property, and they have the right to defend it because ownership, that is the fruit of labor, comprises a natural right that is as sacred as the right to work and to stay alive. Question 883. Is the desire to possess natural? Answer. Yes, but when humans desire to possess only for themselves and for their own personal satisfaction, it is selfishness. And then there's a note from Kardec under this one. Nevertheless, not a note, but a question after this answer. Nevertheless, isn't the desire to possess legitimate, since the one who has enough to live is on since the one who has enough to live on is not a burden to others? Answer. There are insatiable individuals who accumulate possessions without benefit to anyone else, or merely to satisfy their passions. Do you believe that this is approved by God? Those who accumulate assets through their labor with intention of helping their neighbor practice the law of love and charity, and their labor is blessed by God. Question 884. What is the characteristic of legitimate ownership? Answer. There is only one legitimate ownership, owing something that has been acquired without harm to others. And then there's a note from Kardec under this answer, which is: the law of love and justice forbid us to do to others what we would not want them to do to us, and by the same principle it condemns every man of acquiring property that is contrary to it. Question 885. Is the right of ownership unlimited? Answer. Of course. Everything that is legitimately acquired represents proper ownership. But, as we have said, human legislation is imperfect, and it frequently sanctions conventional rights that natural justice does not approve of. That is why humans reform their laws as they make progress and as they better comprehend justice. What appears perfect in one century appears barbaric in the next. Well, guys, I hope you guys have liked this reading as much as I do, and I wish you a great day. God bless you all. Big kiss. Bye-bye.